A boardwalk, boat rental, even a restaurant. That's the mayor's vision for Albuquerque's Bosque.
But not everybody sees it that way. There are some skeptics who fear the Bosque might end up, get this, like an amusement park.
There are a great number of people in our community that are extremely concerned about disturbing the Bosque.
Well, the issue here is what's called the Rio Grande Vision, part of Mayor R.J. Berry's ABQ the Plan. It includes boat launches, wildlife observation decks, and maybe even a restaurant. City Council President Ken Sanchez, whom you just heard from, wants to make sure this kind of long-range planning is done according to city rules.
We are not trying to prohibit him from moving forward with his Rio Grande Vision plan, but he needs to follow a process, and if it's in violation of what's in place, then it needs to be stopped.
Councilor Sanchez says there are restrictions to preserve the habitat, such as preventing buildings like a restaurant from being built in the Bosque. The director of the city's Parks and Recreation Department says any idea to change the Bosque must follow the rules, and it would. Well, a no-confidence vote in Treasurer Manny Ortiz from Bernalillo County is set for Monday. A special meeting of the Finance Commission. The county lost $750,000 when it had to sell off investments Mr. Ortiz made so it could go ahead and pay its bills. The county must cut now $20 million to maintain its excellent credit rating, and there are $20 to $25 million more that the county plans to cut from programs and jobs. Commissioners Debbie O'Malley and Lonnie Talbert asked the board to add this no-confidence vote to the Board of Finance meeting agenda. Again, that's for Monday. Ultimately, though, the vote is purely symbolic. It really has no consequences. Well, if you have any complaints or ideas about the future of New Mexico's transit and rail system, today is the day to give voice to them, to people who can actually do something about it. The New Mexico Department of Transportation is asking for your public comments at a meeting set for 1:30 this afternoon. It's at the Mid-Region Council of Governments, sometimes called Mr. COG. That's at 809 Copper Avenue Southwest. Go ahead, weigh in. They want to hear from you.
The Daily Times is reporting that the Farmington Convention and Visitors Bureau says it does not want to release documents that could provide insight into embezzlement by the Bureau's former director who killed himself. The report says that the Bureau denied its request for records. The city attorney says even though the Convention and Visitors Bureau receives public funding, that still does not make the Bureau subject to New Mexico's public record laws. Now, the New Mexico Foundation for Open Government disagrees.
Folks, in Roswell, there's a new police chief in town. Phil Smith is a 27-year police veteran. He's been in Roswell since 2011, serving as deputy chief. That is until he was introduced yesterday as the community's top cop. Among the Chief Smith's goals, developing more strong leaders within the department.
Well, you know, some people living in a part of southeastern New Mexico are wondering if their town is safe. We're talking about Roswell here. They're worried about the increase in crime. A special news conference was held in Roswell to address the community's growing concerns over safety. In the last 10 days, there had been 2 homicides, 2 officers-involved shootings, and explosives found in 2 homes. Many are wondering if their town is safe. Dennis Kentai, who is running for Roswell mayor, has more than 20 years of law enforcement experience. He answered questions yesterday.
People have expressed fear. They're concerned. Do I dare go out? Do I go to the movies? Do I go to the store? Do I let my kids go trick-or-treating tonight? You can't live a life of fear, but you need to be cautious and you need to be careful.
Kentai says crime often comes in waves, and Roswell is experiencing one of those violent waves right now. Roswell certainly isn't alone. Unfortunately, it's hard not to notice the increase in violence right here in Albuquerque. In fact, at 3:30 this afternoon, Albuquerque's police chief, Alan Banks, is expected to give an update on the recent shootings. Be sure to stay with KRQE News 13. We'll bring you updates as we have them.
Well, the Albuquerque City Clerk's office is getting slammed with questions right now about the lengthy ballot question that could ban late-term abortions.
If you want to read the whole thing, you take hours and a magnifying glass.
The City Council determined that the entire ordinance should be on the ballot so citizens understand that it is an entire ordinance that they're being asked to vote for or against.
Now, as we told you, early voting started on Wednesday for this initiative, which could ban late-term abortions after 20 weeks. The wordy language is filled with arguments and legal terms defining The ordinance clerk's office made posters to go up at polling sites all across the city because the questions are so lengthy and the text is so small. So the city clerk basically simplifies all of it. Amy Bailey says if you're in support of the proposed ordinance, you vote for it. If you're opposed to the ordinance, again, this is to ban abortions after 20 weeks, you simply vote against it. Simple as that.
Looking for a job? Bernalillo County is hiring. The Metro Detention Center is looking for about 60 corrections officers. The county says the pay is pretty good and guards will receive benefits. Training academies start in January.
Well, it is now official, unfortunately. One person in New Mexico has just died from the hantavirus, the first this year to do so. A 73-year-old woman from Santa Fe County got the virus and died. She's the second person to get the hantavirus this year and the first person who has ever died from it in Santa Fe County. The virus is usually spread through mouse droppings. Early symptoms include fever, muscle aches, headaches, and nausea. Then the hantavirus goes after your respiratory system.